Before we get into the show, there is a way that you can help support the show. A very easy way, in fact.
If you go to our website, eatlunchandboardgame.com, click on the Get the Games tab. There we have affiliate links to many of the games and books we have talked about. If you're interested in purchasing any, by clicking on the link, a small portion of your purchase will go to us.
But we promise to use the money wisely by buying more games to review.
We take our jobs very seriously.
Now on with this great episode.
Another fun series of games that I discovered through my research was the Hasbro Rivals Editions. In this series, Hasbro took one of its classics and boiled it down to a two-player mano-a-mano showdown. I was interested in how you could boil some of these games down to two players for sure. So, first up, Monopoly. So grab your biggest rival and let's battle it out over Monopoly Rivals Edition. Welcome back to Lunch and Board Game. I'm your host, Adam Collins, and let's take a look at the rule clarity for Monopoly Rivals Edition. Interestingly, this is a stumble in my opinion. The rules are seemingly very clear. It isn't until you start playing that you realize there is one rule missed. Time to explain to newcomers. I would say about 4 whole minutes, assuming that the newcomer has some understanding of how Monopoly works. But in today's world, who doesn't know how basic Monopoly works? Rivals Edition is a simplified version of Monopoly. Gameplay. Each player selects a token, either the top hat or the car, and places it on Go. Then each player selects a color, red or blue, and takes the 16 hotels in that color. Oddly, the rulebook refers to these as houses, but these are hotels. Come on, we know Monopoly pieces. Finally, each player is dealt $1,000 for $50 bills and 8 $100 bills. There are some subtle but important changes from the original game to this version. First, just one lonely die, so there are no rolling doubles in this version. Secondly, only 2 properties per color, not 3. Third, no railroads, utilities, or tax spaces. Number 4. There are no property cards. Alright, so the first player rolls the die, the 1 die, and moves their token that many spaces. Then follow one of these rules. If the space is unowned, place a hotel on it, claiming it. No money needs to be paid to the bank. If it's space you already own, and the other property in that color is unowned, that property is now immediately set for auction. If it is a space you already own, and you own the complete set, draw either a chance or a community chest card. More on them in a few minutes. If the space is owned by your rival, but not part of a complete set, pay the rent, which is the cost listed on the board. If the space is owned by your rival, and the complete set is owned by your rival, pay them double the rent. Lastly, if you land on a space you own and your rival owns the other, do nothing. This is the rule they left out, which I found weird because they had the room in the small rule sheet to put it in, and you could play the game wrong if, that's not the rule or the intent. Now let's talk about the 4 corner spaces. Go, jail just visiting, free parking, and go to jail. The rules remain the same as the base game with the exception of going to jail. You just miss 1 turn because you can't pay doubles and they don't charge you $50. Okay, now for the cards. Chance and Community Chest are the only real decision tree in this version of Monopoly. They come in just a few varieties. They will instruct you to do something like move your token, swap ownership of properties, steal properties, etc. And they are played immediately and placed at the bottom of the respective deck. The other flavor revolves around rent, double it, triple it, or don't pay it. As I said, this is the only strategy and decision making in the game. Which property to steal, which to swap, when to double or triple rent. Winning comes down to 2 different ways. The old-fashioned bankrupting your rival, or if one player can own the whole board, all 16 properties. That's all there is to Monopoly Rivals Edition. Replayability. Not a whole lot. Monopoly Rivals only succeeds because of the chance and community chess cards. As I mentioned, they provide the only real choices in the game. The rest feels very Monopoly Junior. I told my friend, rival, who I was playing with, that this felt like Monopoly Teenager. Harder than Junior, simpler than regular. Component quality. Again, this is another stumble for this game. The box just doesn't fit the game, or the game doesn't fit the box, whichever way you want to put it. The houses, or, the hotels, are the same molded plastic you would expect. The 2 tokens are the same metal as the original. The die is a standard, boring white D6 with black pips. I would have liked to see some kind of flair, red and blue pips, or a black die, or something to make it different than the original. A die is cheap. The money, well, again, standard fare, get it, fair, as are the chance community chess cards. The board is cheap, too cheap. It will warp easily, as mine already has. And I bought this brand new and opened it the night we played at a local restaurant. There's a small cardboard tray to hold all the pieces, but nothing to sort them out. They just flop around and get mixed up, and the money gets bent and all that good stuff. The board fits in the lower half, but it is narrower than the box, so it too just slides around and ends up being underneath the holder. The rules are an awkward size, larger than the board, smaller than the area of the box. They just sit in there and get bent. All in all, kind of a disappointment on component quality. Lunchtime potential. Sure, you could play Monopoly Rivals Edition at lunch. BGG listed as having a dash time, meaning they don't even list a time. Luckily, we timed it. It took us about 20 minutes to play after the 5 minutes of reading all the rules. Artwork. No designer or artist is credited with this game, which I thought was weird, that they didn't even list like Lizzie McGee or Charles Darrow. They just don't even list one. Expansions and other. Nope. Bang for the buck. So I paid $9.42 for Monopoly Rivals Edition on eBay. For that, I will say it was worth it. It will scratch the itch for a 2-player Monopoly game. It will not, however, be a game I find myself craving to play. Summary. While I did not know what to expect, I had my reservations about a 2-player Monopoly game. I do not think that the original is all that great at 2 players, but I would be a liar if I said I never played it with just my sister for hours on end. We played Monopoly many times just one-on-one. I was shocked and impressed by how well they distilled the original game down to this version, this Rivals Edition. I like it better than the standard Monopoly at 2 players, but I would either reach for this as a 2-player for game night or suggest playing it to scratch the Monopoly itch. I would try to reach out and find a 3rd or 4th player to get a regular game of Monopoly in. Another shocking thing about Monopoly Rivals Edition, it carries a 5.3 on Board Game Geek with 70 ratings. The original Monopoly only carries a 4.4 with 39,000 ratings, just for comparison. I have recently acquired more of these Rivals Edition games, and I look forward to playing them, some more than others. But don't worry, I'll report back to you on how they play. As usual, you can reach out to me at facebook.com/eatlunchandboardgame. Visit our website at eatlunchandboardgame.com. And as always, you can email me at eatlunchandboardgame@gmail.com with game selections for us to try. And remember, board games build bridges.
When you're gaming, why not be comfy? Go over to supportplayer.org. Click on the cards, pieces, and dice to get some merch. These t-shirts are some of the most comfortable I have ever worn. That's supportplayer.org, and there's a link on eatlunchandboardgame.com.